Namaste. Welcome to the Conscious Convo podcast. I am your host and teacher, Pippa Leslie. I'm here to share everything I learn, see, and channel. This podcast is for the conscious and curious beings who are ready to dive deeper into spirituality. I am so grateful you are here. Hi guys, welcome back. So I'm actually really excited today because I'm doing a live recording with Michelle from the Crystal Point. She is in Hamilton, where I'm living now in New Zealand. And I'm starting to do these because everything that I do with interviews is normally on Zoom or on Zencastr. And now I'm sat actually right in front of Michelle. So it's really nice to have her here with me today. So hi, Michelle.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. So this is the first kind of interview that I've done with someone who owns a crystal shop, a spiritual shop, which is incredible. Like, what you've got here is insane. Like, all the amount of products you've got in there and the customers you have. Like, I've met so many amazing people coming into the shop, and I've met you. So yeah. I want to be able to have the episode today to talk to you about your journey, about how how the Crystal Point come into existence.
Thank you. It's good to spend some time with you today and to let people know a little bit more about myself and the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how did you get into spirituality? Was it something that has always been with you, or did it come into your life as you got older?
I think most of it came into my life as I did get older. Thinking about this morning is actually almost 20 years ago. So what happened is I met this wonderful guy in my life, my husband now, Trevor, and it all started from one day I was just walking from my place of work in town, working for another person, another business, and walking to my car, and my hands used to get tingly. And I never said nothing to no one because I didn't know what it was. And I had parked my car at my friend's house, and he said to me one day, he goes, "You know when your hands get tingly?" And I just went silent because I thought, I haven't told you nothing. And he started telling me about the tingliness and the energy healing and putting your hands on people and all that sort of thing. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of spooky. And I was actually scared to start with. And he was into Wiccan and things, and I wasn't, because I see myself as more sort of a nature witch now. But so it was kind of just playing with it. So where I worked at the time, when people had a headache, I started playing and go, "Oh, let me help you with that." And I started trying to relieve their headaches and did a course through the spiritual church, which allowed me to help other people.
That's beautiful. And like you said, you kind of knew you already had the healing hands.
Yeah, so at that stage, it had just started to develop, and yeah, that was my first opening, was someone just had picked up on it and started telling, their intuition. Yeah. And then when I spoke to Trevor, he's like, "Oh yeah, I used to play with playing cards and party tricks when he was a teenager." So meeting each other has opened and unleashed our spirituality, and it all sort of started from there.
It's beautiful. Did you always have a vision of having a spiritual shop?
No, I actually always wanted to have my own store. Yeah. And as a young teen, I used to make plaster Paris gnomes.
Oh, wow.
And, my upbringing came from a poor family, so we didn't have a lot. So we did things like blueberry picking and carry on. And I had a paper run, and I started saving my money and buying moulds and making gnomes and selling them to the pensioners on my paper run.
That's amazing.
And then I actually, when I was 20 years old, I opened my first store and called it Gnome On In.
Yeah.
And that was in Collingwood Street, there was a mall there, now it's apartments. Yeah. And that was my first experience of my first store. Yeah. But then I fell pregnant with twins.
Oh, wow.
And I was too sick to carry on, so that closed and went on the back burner for until now, pretty much. Yeah. Until 2 years ago.
Is that when you opened the Crystal Point?
Yes. Yeah. So we opened 7th of March 2020. So we had been thinking about it. I used to get really frustrated working for other people.
Yeah.
And I'd see the opportunities, but I was restricted to what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
So 2.5, almost 3 years ago, I said to Spirit, I says, okay, if the phone number for the shop that I'm looking at is in my pocket, in my notebook, because I had more than one notebook, then I'm going to ring that number and I'm going to ask about renting the shop. And it so happened that, yes, I had that phone number in my pocket, so I rang the guy and made an appointment. And it just all came about. It was meant to be.
Yeah, it just fell into place.
Yeah.
Mm.
But, prior to that, it was just like stepping stones throughout. Lots happened in my life between the first store and this store. And Trevor and I actually started running spiritual fairs. So they were called Natural Earth and Holistic Fairs. We ran them in the Waikato and up to Waihi. And then from there, our son together was born, and when he was a year old, I said to Trevor, I says, we can't keep travelling around, because we had a blended family and it was really, really difficult. And once he was 1 and running around, it's like, nightmare. So we put that on hold, and later on started the Crystal Cafes, which is psychic suppers.
Lovely.
And then it was just all stepping stones. So I knew I wanted to have another store again. But financially, we had to build our foundations and slowly build up until we were able to do it. So then we went from the Crystal Cafe once a month, psychic suppers, into the store now as you see it.
It's amazing. It's like you literally got, it's like a little Aladdin's cave. You've got everything in there, haven't you, really?
You go to the wholesalers, and when you're looking at product, and often the crystals will talk to you, or, you feel like, overall, I feel like I'm the guardian of the crystals, and, it's like a pet shop.
Yeah.
So when I go to the wholesalers, it's like me going into a candy store. And then when I bring them back here, it's like I'm the pet owner.
Yeah.
I'm managing and looking after the shop, and the crystals are all living, live pets or animals.
Yeah, until someone comes and picks the one for them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you're meant to see a particular crystal and you don't spot it, we just laugh and say often things jump off the shelf or fall down.
It's so funny.
Whether you've bumped it or not, because they're getting your attention.
Some things have happened like that in the shop where
it freaks out customers.
Yeah.
But we just say, hey, it's okay, it's normal.
Yeah. Have you got any more of those kind of stories from the shops that are just like just those mystical things that you can't explain, but they're just like, wow?
There's been a few different things happen. I found recently, the more I get in tune with my spirituality, the more my side opens up and my guides come through. And even though I'm not doing the readings or healings myself, we have other people come in and give those services. If I've got messages coming through, like my latest thing that's happening is if someone's lost a loved one recently, I'll start to get the shivers and the feelings and the vibes, and before they leave, I have the urge to often go up and give them a hug and give them a message from their loved one before they leave the shop.
Wow.
And we'll both be standing there crying.
Yeah.
And so I seem to have that key at the moment to help them to grieve.
Yeah.
Because they come in and maybe they haven't cried, and it's, it might have just happened a month ago or within the last 3 months. So I seem to, at this stage at the moment, be helping in that area. So I like to give the information. If I've got the messages, I'll share it because it's meant to be. Or, if someone's looking for a particular crystal, and I'll see a picture in my mind of what they need at the time. So long as I'm keeping myself cleansed and balanced, my guides are giving me the information that I need to pass on to the customers. So when that flows, it's just amazing. It's really lovely to share.
It is, yeah. So that you'd say that's one of your gifts.
Yes. Yeah. I'm told that I'm an intuitive, so I try to go with that information.
Yeah.
And it's interesting sometimes, like my husband Trevor's starting to come into the business now. So the two of us are going to be running it together. And my guides will tell me particular ways of doing things. So now to try and involve him, I've got to bite my tongue a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'll like to involve him and to let him do his part. But also when I've got people helping me in the shop, like Logan today, try and let him do his part. And even though I'll have the information about how things should be done or what the end result is, it's also being in tune helps me with my flexibility that everyone's got a different way to get from A to B.
Yeah.
And it might not be my way, but I can see that so helping his spiritual side too. It's not always giving all the answers. Sometimes it's guiding other people or encouraging customers to select the right crystal, teaching them. Like I used to say, if you're wanting to choose a crystal today for yourself and you're unsure, an analogy I often would use is if you were going into a garden store to buy a pot plant to put in your home and it's a flowering one, what colour flower do you see? Because if you have any uncertainty about crystals, if you try and, like I see it as parallel.
Yeah.
So if you try and relate it to something different, it's easier to think of the colour of a flower compared to the colour of a crystal.
Yeah.
And then that will draw you to the correct crystal, whether you're buying it for yourself or for someone else. Mm-hmm. So you think of yourself or think of the person you're buying it for, or think of the situation, and just calmly it'll come and you'll connect with it.
Mm-hmm. Do you use crystals for healing?
Yes.
Yeah. How does that work? Because I never got into crystal healing. I got into the Reiki side of things. So how would you use crystals to heal?
So one way I was taught was to have a basic set of crystals, and realising that crystals, the energy, the healing side is working on an energy level. So we're not working humanly on it.
Yeah.
So spiritually, one of my favourite is you get a piece of propylight and pop that, say, under the bed or under the massage table if you're going to lie down, and put a piece of calcite on top of the propylight, and then choose 6 crystals. So whether they're 6 amethyst or 6 clear quartz. So if you want a nice calm healing, you can actually do a grid for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're putting it under the table, so space them out, the 6 crystals. Purple, amethyst if you just want to relax and re-energize and calm, or if you need that real focus and clarity and you want a fairly harsh wake-up call, use clear quartz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the propylight actually helps to balance all the crystals.
Yeah.
And bring it all together.
We use clear quartz as our grid for when we do Reiki attunements, things like that. So I've always brought crystals into Reiki, but I've never really studied them. I've always been, that looks pretty, I like that one. Like you said, if I thought of a flower, I'd always go for pinks, purples, like my favourite colours.
Yes.
And I've kind of got a lot, like especially the angel quartz, that's one of my favourites.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I used to do healings back when I first started with the crystals, and I'd have just a mixture. So I'd have my box of crystals. So I started with that basic, and then if I saw a colour or I sensed it, I felt the pull for it, then I'd add more crystals into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think that helps people to intuitively pick, isn't it? Like people say, what crystal should I take? And you help them to say, use that intuition. And
yeah,
I think people kind of want to pick the perfect crystal, don't they? And there isn't any such thing. It's the right crystal for you, isn't it? It kind of speaks to you, yeah.
Because often one thing people say, they come in and they go, I want a healing crystal, or I want the healing crystal. Which one's the healing? But they're all healing.
Yeah, in their own way.
Yeah. And they say that we have thousands of energy fields going throughout our body, all different colours. So even though you look at, if you use the chakras, and they say blue chakra, blue crystal for your throat.
Yeah.
but you might need to put that blue crystal on your foot.
Yeah, it's wherever it needs to go. It's
Yeah.
same with Reiki. When they say, Reiki will go where it's meant to go, your crystal will go where it's meant to go. There's no right, because a lot of students that I teach will say, am I doing it right? Do I need to put my hands in a certain way? I was like, as long as the intention's there and you're sending healing and that person is setting intention, it will go where it's meant to go.
Yes.
With a crystal, it's like if you put a crystal in your bra or a crystal, in your pocket or your purse or whatever, it's doing what it needs to do. And each day is different, isn't it? And your life's so different each day as well.
Totally. And it's better to have crystals in your bra than cell phones.
Yes, I've heard that with the cellular.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny, the other day, so Karma, one of my friends, she often would come in and do readings in store, and she said one day, she goes, I need some rose quartz. So she went and grabbed some rose quartz and paid for a couple of pieces, and she goes, here, this piece is for you. And then it's like, mind blank. It's like, I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
So then I ended up with one rose quartz in one pocket and a piece of smoky quartz in my other pocket. So obviously your rose quartz is for your reminding to love oneself. And smoky quartz can be a really good one that helps connecting your spiritual and your human self, keeping you connected and keeping you on the grounded. And anyway, I threw jeans in the wash, and there's one crystal in the bottom of the washing machine. I don't know where the second one is. That one sort of vanished. And Trevor was folding the washing, and he's like, have you lost something? The other one drops out of the pocket.
Yeah, I always see that. I find crystals randomly that I've not, I don't even remember buying them.
Yes.
It's like they appear out of nowhere.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's what I love about it.
Putting jackets on or jerseys on. Yeah. Which crystal have I got in my pocket today?
Yeah.
You just got to enjoy it and relax.
That's what I said with people with spirituality. Is they come into a shop and they get so anxious about picking the right thing. Like you said, the healing crystal. Well, hang on, there's every single crystal's got healing properties.
Yes.
But I think it's allowing yourself to go, okay, I'm meant to choose what I'm meant to choose today. And sometimes you come in and go, oh, there was nothing for me today. You come in the next day and there's 5,000 things that you want to get. It depends on. I remember in the UK last year, the amount of, spiritual decks I bought, oracle decks, angel decks. I've just got about 30 different variations. Wow. And then as I moved into the Egyptian stuff, that's when I came and bought the Egyptian ones from you. Because I was you start to, that's what I love about spirituality. As you move through spirituality, things change, and then you start to be drawn to certain deities, masters. So you'll start to think, oh, no, I'm into witchy stuff now, or I'm into the angels. Yeah. I'm into Buddhist teachings.
Yep.
And you need to flow with that because it's teaching you things. I feel like there's so many layers to it.
Absolutely.
And you go deeper and deeper in the layers. I'm very much into all the consciousness stuff now. I'm like, how can I raise my consciousness more, and how can I go deeper in that spirituality? So I'm craving that at the moment.
Nice.
Those really deep present moments.
I think too, things can stop us easily. One of the reasons I took so long to open a crystal shop was the belief in myself.
Yeah.
And the belief that I knew enough. Because to start with, I used to be quite shy and like to stay in the background and not do a lot of talking. And I felt in the beginning that I did not know enough about crystals to open a crystal shop.
Yeah, so it held you back, yeah?
Yeah.
I've had the same in my business. I don't know enough about XYZ to be a mentor, to be a healer, but the fact is we're learning as we do it.
Yeah, just got to be ourselves.
You learn from your clients too. You'll probably learn from all your customers too.
Yeah, I'm forever learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a jewellery guy come in the other week, and we were talking away, and I happened to say that our 13-year-old son wasn't sleeping very well. And he turned around and gave me advice on crystals and goes, go and put a bit of charite and lepidite under his bed. Yeah. I'm like, I know I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And I also, being a human, with human on earth, so we're a spiritual being and a human experience on earth. And we're forever learning, and once we've finished learning, we go home.
Yeah. So we're here to just experience life. I've always said that, what's life got to offer. And one thing I connected to, I don't know if I mentioned this to you when I saw you last, Michelle, was saying the words don't sound as powerful, but when you connect to it yourself, and I would invite the listeners to do this, is think about the people you're helping right now. Even if you are in a spiritual business, if you work, wherever you work, you're helping people on a daily basis. And I think when you come into that service industry, you want to help others.
Absolutely.
And a couple of weeks ago, I really connected to one day my clients and my friends won't be able to pick up the phone to go, let's ring Pip for some advice, let's ring Pip for some love, let's go see Pip for some hugs. And I won't be here one day, I won't be on the earth to be able to do that. And it sounds like, I said, the words just sound, oh yeah, that's just like any other kind of say, experience life because life's short, all that kind of thing. But when you really connect to it, Michelle, Pippa, you listening, you won't be here one day. So enjoy it now. All the things you want to do, just do it now. Because even if it is to move into a spiritual business, to become an entrepreneur, I feel like if that's a path for you, just do it. Because there's people out there who need you, that can pick up the phone right now, that can message you, that can knock on your door, that can go for a coffee with you. Yes. And that's what means the world to me, being able to do that. Absolutely. While I'm here in my human form. And then when I've left, I'll just come down in spirit and give them a little nudge.
Well, it's scary too. Everything, anything we've never done before is scary.
Yeah.
But going on this venture to open the store 2.5 years ago, I ended up with a spiritual business mentor, my friend Janet that I met. Yeah. She's helped me immensely. And I always say that if it wasn't for her, she helped me with my confidence. I used to go and have weekly sessions with her. And still to this day, I say the shop opened because of her help.
Yeah.
She helped me.
There. Yeah.
Absolutely. She's just got those tools that I didn't have. Yeah. And we used to say, oh, next year we'll open the shop. Oh, no, next year we'll do it.
It's like that tomorrow.
And then it's enough's enough. And one of the things she taught me was you never know when you're at the top of the hill. Mm-hmm. So we have all these fears and worries and concerns. And she taught me, get the facts. Yeah. Because we can be too emotional and worry. The worry, we've got to release that and focus on manifesting what we want. And when we don't have what we want, it's writing in words and trying to, if we can write it with a short amount of words, to focus on that manifesting what we want. It's like, with all this stuff and crap we've been through in the last few years, it's like things like, business is better.
Yeah.
If we say it and we read it and we think it,
becomes.
And it, this hasn't been an easy path. And there's been times when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, thought about giving up because it's hard. But that's when you surround yourself with loving people, you have a business mentor, more than one, who've been where you want to go, or have tools that you don't have, so that they help you and encourage you to reach your goals, whatever they are.
Yeah, and I love what you said about moving out your comfort zone, because you're doing this right now.
Yes.
With me, and it's incredible because when you finished it, whenever I push myself out my comfort zone, when I finish, I'm like a giddy kid. I'm like, oh, I did that. It's like it's so good to be able to do it, and it is scary. And it is scary, but I feel like as well when you mention manifestation, Michelle, is like I believe we have. Before we came to Earth, we kind of sign up for whatever lessons we didn't learn in past lives.
Yes.
And we kind of go, okay, well, I'm going to learn it. And how I learn it is up to me. Because, say, for example, I need to learn, how to get over heartbreak. Let's use that as an example. We all go through that. But how that happens is just, you need to let that happen as it's meant to. Yeah. And I think from touching on human design, I had a human design reading done a few years ago. And she said that I have a fixed fate. So I don't believe that I can't change what's ahead of me, because I believe you can, but I feel like if I've got a fixed fate and my destiny's fixed, I just need to just sit back and enjoy the ride. Because I can create what I want to create. I am co-creating, as I'm speaking. I'm a generator, so that's why I'm constantly full of ideas. I'm constantly full of wanting to help others. I'm that busy bee. Like I'm trying to be more of the human being instead of the human doing. But when you start to really have human design done, you have readings done, you get mentors, you get healers, they're helping you to find out who you are.
Absolutely.
And they're there to, like a little Hansel and Gretel, I always say, when they leave crumbs. They're the crumbs in your life that you're meant to pick up. They help you, and then you move forward, and then they help you, and then you move forward. And it's like, I've always envisioned our path like the yellow brick road.
Yeah.
And you're walking down the Elbit Road and you see something in the distance and you go off on a tangent, and then the mentor, the healer, the friend hold your hand, directs you back to your path. Okay, I'm on my path again. Then you go, oh, there's something over there, I'm going to go over that way.
Yeah.
But these detours are meant for that, because you just verge off back onto the path. So if you can just allow that to happen and not, because again, people kind of give themselves such a hard time for making different decisions. I wish I'd never chose that. I wish I'd not got in that relationship. I wish I'd left that relationship. And we're constantly making ourselves, we beat ourselves down for the decisions we make. But instead of going, actually honour your decisions you've made.
Yes.
Because I say to all my clients, what's the last challenge you got through that you got through? And they go back and they get upset because it's got like going through it again with the trauma and the pain. And I said, let's just give her or him some love right now, because look where he or she was 5, 6, 7 years ago to now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we forget that, even though it's about the present moment, we forget that person was you, and she and he got you to where you're meant to be with all the help, and that's important in life, isn't it?
Oh, totally. I mean, I'm nowhere near perfect. Every 3 or 4 months I'll go and have a spiritual healing of some description from different healers. I've got my 1 or 2 that I go back to, and then open for different things. And looking at life on a spiritual level and a physical level. I mean, for me, I also have back issues, but I've learnt how to cope with that, and sometimes it's energy healings and what do you call it, respecting yourself, and doing something like going for an actual massage once every 6 weeks. So we actually maintain our human body and our spiritual body. Because it's hard on earth.
It is.
But we've just got to be kind to one another as well. It's when someone hurts another being, and I think we're all one.
We are.
So if we yell at someone, or if we hurt someone or steal from someone, we're hurting part of ourselves.
Yeah, you just do it to yourself.
So being aware of that, and that it's okay to go, hey, I'm not coping today, I need some help.
Asking for help. With a lot of people find it hard to ask for help, because I feel that with friends I've had and clients I've had, I feel like they feel like a burden.
Yes.
They don't want to put their problems on our problem. But the thing is, I've always kept my cup full. So I know when clients come to me, I'm like, okay, my cup's full and all the overflow is going to you. So, for me, like, I love taking stress off people. Not so I'm stressed, but I like saying, let me take some stress off you today. That's why I do these home visits, because like going into the home and saying, how can I take stress off you today? So you can go and meditate, go for a walk, run a bath, go for a massage, do something for yourself that you would say, I've not got the time. It's allowing, it's just, that for me is priceless. I just think like being able to do that for someone, it's just like, it makes me feel so like just honoured to be able to do that.
Absolutely,
Because it's like kindness, and one of my big values is from the Tao Te Ching. It's service to others, reverence for all life, so respect for all life. Kindness and gentleness, and if I can stick by those every day, I just feel like that's my path and that's my calling.
With the store, with having the Crystal Point, to me it's like the shop and myself are at the crossroads. So what I find is, when people need to connect with other people, or when people need to connect with crystals, I'm the person at the crossroads that has that information or the product. So when people come into our store, they're very welcome, whether it's looking for a crystal or if they just want to be in the energy, in the vibe. They can just wander around and enjoy the energy. If they need a hug, need a cup of tea or coffee, it's not all about sales. And as we teach, Trevor and I have always taught our children, it's like people first, money second. We're on earth, we need money to survive, but we need to put people first. And for us with the business, if it just means you're having a shit day, you just want to come in, feel the vibe, don't want to buy anything, you might just need a hug, cuppa, just someone to listen, then welcome to come and enjoy the energy of all the crystals. We've got to look after people first.
We have to, because we're on this earth together.
Absolutely.
And if we don't take care of our own, I think Robin Williams said that. We should. What matters most is people. He said, not yourself, but people. Because when you put others first, you're actually putting yourself first.
Yes.
Because it's like a great paradox. It's like we're actually not. It's not like you're not putting yourself first. It's like you already know you're a priority, but by putting others first and serving others, you're actually serving yourself.
Yeah,
and that's where
good.
Yeah, it's for me. If I wake up every morning and say, how can I serve today? That could look like 1,000 different things. But as long as I'm doing something each day to serve,
yeah,
it's that again's filling my cup as well.
Yes.
So it's important for that, and that's why I like about what you said. Like when you said crossroads, I was like seeing you as you like a checkpoint, you're like a hub.
Yeah.
Like so everyone's like, the hub's here, so everyone kind of meets here, and everyone kind of, like you said,
connects.
And I can imagine you like being on a crossroad on a corner,
yeah.
like the horse and carriage is pulling up, and like let's just nip in and say hi.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that that's what I love about what you've created. It's like you said, it's not just the spiritual shop. It's more than that.
It's a meeting place, connecting. And, if there's crystals, particular items customers are looking for, we have our customer request book. So we write down their details because I learnt the hard way. People would come to me and they go, I'm looking for a particular crystal and, oh, no, I don't have that. And you know what would happen? If they were meant to have that crystal, it turned up in my hands a day or two later. And I'd be like, oh, I don't know their name, the customer's name or phone number because I didn't take that information. Now I've learnt. So we record customer details if they're looking for something because I know deep down that if they're meant to have that crystal and if they are meant to have it in a day or 2 or 2 months, 3 months, whatever that time period, it will. It'll absolutely be. And then I just connect in and go, right, Pippa's looking for this crystal today. And then when I'm doing my looking around for our suppliers, and it's like, Pippa wants a crystal. It's that one.
Yeah, so you just know. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or I'll go shopping for crystals for the shop, and it's like, for some reason we need this one, and that one.
It's like you're actually gifting. It's like you picking the gifts.
Yes.
To go and get them themselves. It's like it's such a beautiful thing to do, isn't it? Like you get a buzz from it.
Absolutely. And afterwards you go, oh, that bill was a bit more than what But it's not about the money again. It's about the people. And if I feel drawn to buy an expensive crystal and I'm able to bring it into the store, it's because someone's coming for it.
Yeah.
So I've got to have it there because otherwise the customer's going to walk into the shop and go, oh, I'm looking for an amethyst cave about 20 kilos. Oh, there it is. Or it's me going, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I saw that exact crystal that customer's looking for and I didn't bring it home. So then I beat myself up about it.
Yeah.
So it's easier to go with the flow of spirit than to go into the supermarket.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the supermarket and you get the pull, say maybe to get a tin of tomatoes, and you don't buy it because you know you've got some at home. But when you get home, your husband turns around and goes, oh, I've used the last tin of tomatoes, I need another tin. And you go, oh, crap.
You should have got it, yeah. You gotta listen to those little
Trust.
niggles.
Yeah, we've got to trust. We've got to, no matter what, in life, we've got to trust our own inner child, our own inner being, above and beyond anything anyone says to us. Because we do have all the answers.
Yeah, within.
Yeah. You've got to trust.
It's interesting because if someone comes to me for like healing or especially intuitive guidance, I say to them, my wish for you is that you don't have to come back to see me.
Yeah.
For intuitive guidance because you have all this within you. I love helping people and said you'll come for a Reiki session, you'll be in a energy, it's great, but I want you to go away with homework, to go within yourself and find the answers and let me know what you found because it's we all have access to these answers.
Yes.
And we see them through our own perspective, which is beautiful because that makes us all unique, doesn't it? In our own way. Absolutely.
And then just come back, for a top up.
Yeah.
Whenever, the path's quite rough, thinking of earth and living and day to day, and because not everyone is kind like we wish they would be to one another. And sometimes we've just had a bit too much harshness from some other people that are hurting. So then we need to go back to our healers, but if we're doing that work in between, you don't need as many healings.
Yeah, I love that. I am going to ask you 3 questions that I ask everybody at the end of an interview, and I love them because everyone's so different and that's what makes everyone so unique.
Yes.
So if you had a magic wand, how would you use it to save our world?
Oh, when I think of magic wand in the world, I think of nature and greenery and the ocean and just being kind.
Yeah.
Just being kind, just living with, respecting nature.
Yeah.
Just people to understand how important it is.
And we're connected to it so much as well. It's a part of us.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. And what are 3 things people can do right now to raise their consciousness?
Well, interesting enough, something I picked up a book from Dr. Janice Priest the other day, and I flipped it to the page that said stress. And one of the tips was getting up 15 minutes earlier so we're not so stressed.
It's a big one.
So that, yes. And when I spoke to Jeffrey one time, he said to me, he meditates every morning. So, no, I don't yet. I'm still work in progress. But taking some quiet time. And thirdly, try putting some crystals in your pockets.
Yeah. Wear them in yourself.
Putting them on you.
Yeah.
Yep. And just feeling the vibe and just allowing to be.
Love that. I get up early because I know it's just, I get so much done. Like, I'm so productive in the morning.
Yeah.
And I love being up when the birds are up.
Oh, the birds, that's the best. Hearing them sing.
Yeah, in the morning. Like, dawn and dusk are my favourite times of day.
Yeah.
Because it's a new day for dawn, and then dusk is like when everything's setting, all the birds are getting ready for bed.
Yes.
And they're so loud and you can hear them, and it's my favourite. I love it so much.
Yes, I agree with you. It's lovely, and it's that time quiet and being up either end of the day when no one else is up.
That's what I love, yeah. It's like the world's quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, like I go out for a run at like, say, sometimes 6:30 or 7 in the morning, or sometimes I'll do a walk and I'm like, everything's quiet, there's not many cars on the road. Yeah, it's peaceful.
Yeah.
And that is a de-stressor.
Absolutely.
Definitely lets go of the anxiety, and especially when you get those first glimpses of sunlight, they're supposed to be really healing for your body.
Yeah. No, lovely.
Yeah. My third question, which is a surprise for you, is if you had the whole world at your attention right now, what would you say to them?
Just be.
Yeah.
Just be.
Yeah.
Let go of the fear, the worry and the stress. Just be.
Yeah. Just be.
Yeah,
I love those answers. I have loved talking to you today, Michelle. I know we're going to do this again, aren't we?
Yes, thank you, Pippa.
You're welcome. Before we finish, I just wanted to kind of mention, you have healers and readers at the shop, don't you, every month?
Yes, we do.
So obviously I can put those on the show notes so everyone can see them for this month.
Absolutely.
And then we can, every time we do an interview together, we can put all the healers and the readers in the show notes. People can find them and come here for it.
Yeah, totally. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah. I really enjoyed talking to you today, and I think the people are going to love listening to you and coming down to the shop if you are in Hamilton or even further afield in the Waikato area. So I've just loved it. Love chatting to you in person as well, which is great.
Yes, thank you, Pippa. It's been wonderful.
You're so welcome.
To share.
I hope you all enjoyed, guys. I'm going to put Michelle's details in the show notes so you can reach out to her. If you are in New Zealand, come give her a visit and come see the shop. If you have any questions for her, or find her on Facebook. You're on Instagram too, aren't you?
Absolutely, the Crystal Point NZ.
Yep. And follow her, send her a message. If you really enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star review and share it with your family and your friends. Tag us on socials. But I'm just going to leave you there with all that amazing information today. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I'll speak to you soon, guys. Bye.
See ya.